All right, today we're going to take a look at the lovely tune that Hoagy Carmichael wrote in 1927 called Stardust. There's lots to learn here, and the first place we'll start is a harmonic analysis of the tune, because that's going to inform everything you do, from improvising to chord melody to so on. This is just the way you've got to start. I played the tune in a separate video, which we'll just call Stardust. And so if you're not super familiar with the tune, you can just check out my playing a chord arrangement of that. Okay, now let's get on to the tune itself. Pick up. And then we have the F major 7. So the first question is, what is the F major 7? The key signature here is C major, but we're starting on an F major chord. So my first question is going to be, how does the F major chord relate to the key of C major, which is in the key signature? The F major chord is the 4 chord in the key of C. So we're starting on a 4 chord. And so that'll have implications in that since you're in the key of C, you should, I think of playing a C scale starting on F over the 4 chord, which will give you a Lydian mode. That's another time. And then it goes to the 4 minor, but with the raised major 7. And that's going to sound like a minor scale with a raised 7, right? In other words, you could play harmonic minor or you could play melodic minor, but you should have that raised 7. So the first 2 chords, and they sort of, lazy along, and then there's that really pretty minor with a major 7. And then it goes to its related 2. This B flat 7 comes from the key of C minor, not the key of C major. And that's its origin. It's a dominant that belongs in the key of C minor. And then we resolve to the C major, and now that's pretty clear where we are now, right? It took a little bit to get there. F major 7, F minor with the raised 7, the B flat 7, and then finally this resolving for the first time to C major at bar 5. Then we do a typical cycle. 3 chord, which is the E minor is the 3 chord of C major, and then down to the A7. A7 leads to the D minor 7, and then this is a cool thing that he does, a few times I think, is goes to the A7, and then it doubles back to the new tonal center, the briefly new tonal center. And then to the 5 chord, and to the 2, and to the 5, and then finally to the 1, and then to the 2, passing diminished 3, and A7, and that A7 this time. I'm just going through, moving ahead. The A7 this time, instead of resolving to D minor, it moves to a D7, which suggests that you're in it would be like a 5 chord in the key of G. And the A minor would be like a 2 chord in the key of G. So D7, 2 chord in the key of G, D7, and then we actually go to G, but it's not a G major, it's a G dominant. And then it's related to, back to the dominant, and then to what you'd think would be a resolution to the 1, which is C major, but it's not. It's a resolution to the 1/7, and that chord is the secondary dominant that leads back to the 4 chord. Yeah, that's a cool little trick, man. That's so cool. It's so simple and so cool. And so they're all very closely related. And then we have the second ending. Let's take it from the D minor at measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then when we take the second ending, it goes to the 4. And then that B flat 7 borrowed from the parallel minor again. And then it resolves to the 1 of C. And then it's 3, a passing diminished. It's 2, it's 5, and a resolution to the 1. Okay. So if you're going to tackle a tune like this, it's always a really great idea to begin by an analysis of the chord progression, because if you don't do that analysis of the chord progression, you won't know where you're going, right? And you won't know where to start with soloing. As far as soloing goes with this tune, I think the safest place to start is with arpeggios. You can work your way through full arpeggios, or you could even do part arpeggios, just being aware of spelling those arpeggios out. Whatever chord voicing you happen to use, right? And so that was F major 7, F minor, and we have to raise the 7. Right? B flat 7. Make sure that you're hearing those chords be defined. A7, G7, D minor, and climbing up 2, 5, A7, D7, A minor, D7, which suggests that we're in the key of G, and then G7 now, D minor, and so on. You just go through the fretboard in that way, and do it at any speed you want to do it at. But this is a great way to hear what the tonality of the tune. So much of the melody has come directly out of the chords, right? Arpeggios of the chords in this case, especially in this tune, especially. And related scales, F, in this case, C major over the F chord, because we're in the key of C major, and this is the 4 chord. And then when you go to the F minor, you make sure you get that raised 7, right? You can play play harmonic minor, melodic minor. You can practice it, use different minor tonalities. You can just make sure you've got the flat 3 to make it minor, and the major 7 to give us an F minor with a major 7. Then we go to the B flat 7. C majors, just play through, you can just play it through pedantically. E minor, which is still in C, and then A7, you just have to get that C sharp, right? And D minor resolves to the D minor, D minor, we're back to C. A7, you can play, well, you don't have to play D. I wouldn't. Just play the C sharp in that A7. You don't have a lot of time there. And then D minor, work your way through, D minor, C major scale, G7, C major scale. But the idea is to define the notes of the chord. So yes, it could be D minor is a C major scale, but you still have to define the D, the F, the A, and the C of. That's why it's a good idea to start with your arpeggios first, and then fill in the arpeggios with the scale tones, right? This is a good sensible way to learn how to solo over something like this. We can back up from there too and say, well, man, that looks really complicated. Well, then just do something like pick the root of the chord, right? F. Right? And just get the root in the 3. And then, right? Root major 7 in the 3. And then 3. Root. You're going to almost end up starting to hear the melody just with doing root and 3, and very closely related notes to the root. You can start with the root and start building up from the root. Root to 3, root to major 7, below the root, root to flat 7 below the root, that kind of thing. Defining the chords and just go through it slowly that way. That's another good one. And then widen it a little bit, like go root 3, 5, and or root 3, 5, and root flat 7, or whatever the case is, right? And always listening for, am I defining those chords? Am I picking up the sound of the chord? Am I effectively picking up the harmony, implying the harmony? That's what you've got to do. Okay, I think that's about it. I think that's all I wanted to impart with this tune. Thanks, and we'll see you again real soon.